Well, somebody in the comments had asked if I still have a cat, or still have my cat. Well, there is a cat, but I've only seen it a few times, but I know it's there, but it goes under buildings and stuff, but at night, once in a while, I'll see it slither across the yard. So, there's a cat, but I can't really say he's my cat. He's just kind of a cat who happens to be here. But he looks really fat, but I think he's been eating at night. I think he goes out and eats the deer that I bring home for the dogs. So I think I do have a cat technically. But I've never been able to get a picture of this cat, though I've tried. But also, now like for the last week, I have another critter around, which is actually better than a cat even, which is an ermine. Now they're of the weasel family, but they're very small. And they're, like this time of year, they're pure white with a black tip on their tail. But they're hellacious mousers, which is good, and I don't have to feed them. But I see them around the house, and the one day I had left the door open slightly because I was cooking and it was hot in there, so I thought, well, I'll just open the door a little bit. Well, then, Herman come in, and he was creeping around, but I could never get a picture of him. But there could be a kind of a power struggle here now because cats will kill an ermine. They're like the worst enemy of an ermine. And also, ermines will kill shrews. Well, I have shrews which I like to have around because shrews are great about keeping insects down. They eat insects and insect eggs, and so there's going to be a power struggle there. I know it. But that's something I just gotta. They'll have to sort that out. So we'll see if I still have an ermine or if I have cats or if I have shrews. I don't know. But I'm not going to interfere with it. I'll let nature run its course there. Okay, I happened to see this morning a video of stupid people. I don't know what the hell the deal is with this stocking up on water and toilet paper. And here people standing in this long lines in the rain in front of a Costco to get in to buy limited amounts of, they got like one thing of toilet paper and one thing of water, that sort of nonsense. But the worst possible thing you could be doing when there's something around is to be crowded into this building standing in these long lines. It just seems silly. But anyway, the other day I got a text from my sister who lives down in Minneapolis, and she said, yeah, she lives in a kind of a suburb, and she said they had a lot of the stores there. Of course, they sold out of toilet paper like 2 weeks ago, and now even all the shelves are bare, the people hoarding up all this stuff. Including, she said, she heard another woman, we were in the one aisle, and here all the flour was gone, and flour is one of them basic staples, but you got to know how to cook. And the other woman had said to her, so what, are they going to start baking their own bread now? Because honestly, like what she says, all of these people, they got to have, when they build a house, they got to have all these commercial stainless steel appliances, like they're going to be really cooking, when in reality they couldn't boil water without burning it, and all they cook with is a microwave. They eat out all the time, but all of a sudden now they're going to buy flour, All right. She's threatening to move down here. She said when the rioting and looting starts, and I tell you, people are nutty enough to do that. People behave badly. Well, anyway, the other day I went into town to get some diesel fuel into the little local town here. It's like 10 miles away. And I stopped in the grocery store just to get a couple things. And usually when I go in there, there's nobody else in there, you know. But here, there was one old couple and then there was one woman in there. Now this woman got up to the checkout thing and she had bought over $300 worth of groceries, but here it was all this, you know, a lot of canned stuff, many rolls of toilet paper, you know, the big maxi things, you know, mega pack, you know. So it makes me think what happened is, you know, we're like 40, 50 miles from Fargo. Well, I think what happened is the people who live in Fargo, which is the biggest city in the state, I think they've cleaned out all their stores there. So I think now what they're doing is going around in the surrounding area and hitting all these little towns, because nobody around here is panicking. But yeah, in the cities they go nuts. You know, they look for an excuse to go nuts. So anyway, she had bought all of this stuff, and this other old couple that are local were sitting looking at her, and I'm looking at her, and the checkout woman is looking at her thinking, okay, yeah, this is the start of something. But it was like over $300, you know, and then she leaves, and then the old woman of the couple that were in front of me, she says, well, if things are really going to go to hell, I want to get a chocolate bar. So she goes and grabs a Hershey bar. You know, I thought that was funny. I don't worry about this nonsense. You know, like I say, I've got my regular canned food that I have stored up from the garden last summer. You know, I got plenty. I'm not in a panic about this. But especially like the water. I don't know what the deal is with this water, but I've got springs that run through here. I got the well. I'm not worried about water. I can melt snow. You know, water is I don't know why people are buying all this water. You know, fighting over water. And toilet paper too. I mean, I always think this is going to make a quite an imbalance in the supply chain, because now all these people that are hoarding up like 2 years worth of toilet paper, well, they won't have to buy any for 2 years. So now what are the pulp paper factories going to have to shut down until they get the demand built up again? I don't know. You know, people are nuts. Anyway, I'm not worried. Like I say, I got water and toilet paper. I'm not worried. I got plenty of leaves from last year, so I'll be just fine. But it is funny. It's entertaining, but it's a sad reflection on humanity when the mere rumor, like I think we got one case in the whole state, and that's way the hell up north, you know. But nope, starting a little panic going. Well, even like my sister in the Minneapolis area, they've got, I think, 14 cases in the whole state. And I expected that to happen, you know, because Minneapolis, the people travel, you know, so. But I think people out in the country, this is, you know, we're always stocked up ahead. Anyway, you know, we expect to be snowed in for a week at a time is no big deal, you know, so everybody is in pretty good shape. But the idea that the people from the cities are starting to go and scrounge around out in the countryside, well, we don't need that either. But it's going to mess with the supply chain. I can see that going to happen. But I'll be just fine.